This is Cruise Radio.
I cruise a lot, and I always sail with travel insurance. You should too. Get a free quote today at tripinsurance.com.
Here we go.
Broadcasting from the tripinsurance.com studios in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Cruise Radio.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Doug Parker. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Cruise Radio. Very happy to have you here, my friend. A review of Carnival Magic this week on a Caribbean cruise. Staff writer Richard Sims is standing by with Cruise News and Cruise News Today. You'll find it Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern, just opposite of this channel or where you listen to your favorite podcast. Also on YouTube. All right, staff writer Richard Sims is here. Hey, Richard.
Hey, Doug.
We kick things off with major news coming out of Hawaii that could have a big impact on future cruises out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should say if you're planning to go to Hawaii, go now, because you may not be able to, at least not as easily in the next couple of years. The Hawaii Department is calling for a 50% reduction in cruise calls by 2030. And then on top of that, they are also suggesting an additional 50% reduction by 2035. Now, this new rule, if it goes into effect, would not impact home-ported ships. Of course, there's only one of those, really, the Pride of America, which is a Norwegian cruise line ship. But it would include other big ships, which visit there as part of their itineraries. The industry obviously would like very much to work with Hawaii and come up with alternate solutions that wouldn't basically involve cutting them off. One of the problems is basically this is in regards to emissions. And there are suggestions that, if ships can plug into shore power, that might be an option. But of course, first, someone would have to pony up the cash to put the infrastructure in place for that to be able to happen. Again, this is all very tentative. And, the cruise line industry is very much willing to meet with and discuss and try and figure out a way to prevent this. But if things go as they are right now, by 2030, we could see a whole lot fewer ships being able to visit Hawaii. And you know what that means? Because of the law of supply and demand, if there are fewer ships, that means the price is going to go way up.
Mm-hmm. And even as Royal Caribbean's newest ship was being introduced to the world, it had a pretty big, last-minute change.
Very last minute. So apparently Diana Ross is a very, very, very busy lady. She was originally announced to be the godmother for Royal Caribbean's Star of the Seas, which was christened this week down in Florida. But only a week or so before the big event, she bowed out. No real word on why. But the folks at Royal Caribbean sat down and they kind of okay, who can we get? What can we do? We've got to replace this person. And they came up with an idea that was kind of cool and very appropriate. Sure, Diana Ross is a star, but the line wound up naming as her replacement someone who has literally been to the stars, astronaut Kelly Girardi. Royal Caribbean CEO Michael Bailey told reporters that it made sense on a couple of different levels. Not only has she been to the stars, but the ship is sailing out of Port Canaveral, which is on Florida's Space Coast. So, you could say the stars all aligned, and this became the perfect solution. Apparently, during a press conference, Bailey joked that someone suggested they make the ship's official guard dog, whose name is Sailor, that the Sailor should become the new godmother, which I think is an awesome idea. Let's have a god dog of the ship. But that idea was shot down. And so as of Thursday night, as of Wednesday night, the ship has been christened, and we now have an astronaut first lady on board. First lady. That's not the word. Godmother.
There you go. And what could have been a very scary situation at a Florida port was swiftly handled by local authorities.
Yeah, this could have gone so wrong. A pontoon boat with 6 passengers on board wound up being stranded in the channel there after a rope got caught in the propeller. The boat was in that channel, dead in the water, and basically in the direct path that was going to be followed by Margaritaville at Sea's Islander when she departed the port. Fortunately, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Marine Enforcement Section, try saying that even once really fast, they were able to jump into action and they towed the disabled pontoon out of harm's way. Ultimately, there's video the people on the pontoon boat with the Islander passing in the background, it looks much more dramatic, especially with a little bit of editing, than it really was. Because the sheriff's office was able to tow them out of the way, no problem. And they actually stayed with the people on the pontoon boat until it was able to untangle its propeller and operate on its own power. So in this case, we can definitely say all's well that ends well.
I don't know, man. Getting out of the way 4 minutes is pretty cutting it close. That could have been really bad.
My thing with this as I was reading it was like, well, wait a minute. I mean, somebody had to have notified the ship that this was happening. Would they be able to stop in 4 minutes, or would the already in motion there's some physics thing about like a something in motion stays in motion. Would the ship have of its own propulsion continued to move forward because it had already started?
I mean, if they could have done that, the Titanic would have avoided the iceberg, right? It takes a long time for those ships to stop. Plus, the channel down there in Tampa is so narrow. It's you're pretty much confined to 2 shipping lanes. Well, 1 shipping lane, a port and a starboard side. So it would be a tight move, man.
Okay, so you're right. It was they did good.
Meanwhile, there have been several unfortunate incidents in the cruise industry involving a lot of cruise passengers.
Yeah, this has been a rough week for news like this. First, we had news that 2 elderly guests drowned in separate incidents at Celebration Key, which is Carnival's new private destination. This is not exactly the kind of thing that you necessarily want to have to be reported in the first month of your operation, but these kind of things happen. And it's unfortunate, but there we are. The other incident is a little stranger. It involved an elderly couple who they were in Livorno, Italy, coming back from a ship tour, and a passenger shuttle bus backed into them, apparently. The husband was hospitalized, and as last we knew, he was still in critical condition. The wife, unfortunately, passed away. So that's 4 folks in the last week who were all cruise ship passengers and all met untimely ends. And our thoughts are with their families and loved ones at this time.
And the folks at Villa V Residences, they're the ones who have that world cruise ship that keeps circumnavigating the world. Well, they have another way to try to get people on board.
Yeah, so first came the Golden Bachelor. Then there was the Golden Bachelorette. Now, Villa V Residences at Sea have rolled out the Golden Passport. It's kind of like the golden ticket in Willy Wonka. Mm-hmm. So the idea for this is that for a set price, which is based on your age, you can basically get lifetime access to either an ocean view or porthole stateroom. Balconies are not available with this plan. It's very important to note that is for ocean view and porthole rooms only. The cost includes all the basics like, your room, food, entertainment, port fees, even wine and dinner at dinner. Did I say wine and dinner?
Yeah, what?
Well, yeah, whatever. Even wine and beer at dinner. And no, I have not yet started my pre-dinner beer and wine. So how much does all this cost? Well, they advertise it as costing anywhere from $99,999, which is annoying. Just say $100,000, to $399,999, which is better known as $400,000. But here's the thing. That $100,000 price tag, that is only available to people 90 and older who want a porthole. They're looking at it and they're like, you're 90, you're not going to live that much longer. Give us 90, give us $100,000. We'll let you, have the rest of your life on this ship should you choose. The $400,000 price tag is for those aged 55 to 59, which is the lowest age range that they offer this to. 55 to 59, and that would be in an ocean view. This pricing is per person, but it's based on single occupancy, not double occupancy, what we normally see. So, it's not like if you have 2 people in this stateroom, you have to pay $200,000 or what, double whatever your entrance fee was. There is, however, a fly in the ointment, kind of literally, because the ship itself just failed its very first CDC health inspection. Mm-hmm. You need a minimum score of 86 to pass, and they had an 81. There were a bunch of problems listed. But the ship needs to present what's called a corrective action plan. In other words, they need to put in writing, here is how we are going to fix it. Here's our timeline, and file that with the CDC. And they have to do that before they can return to U.S. waters. But guess what? They don't plan on being back in U.S. waters for quite a while, like several months at least. So for the moment, nothing to see here. I'm sure they will address those problems as soon as is possible. But that is, just kind of another, I don't know. I feel like this ship has had its share of difficulties, and I've certainly been a little cynical about it. And this is just another oh, come on, what next?
Meanwhile, the ship's living its best life over in Japan. I think it was in Yokohama today. So they're like, we don't care about it. Yeah, we don't care about the health score. We're not going to be back for a long time anyway. It is interesting, though, the whole 90 and above price. Like my great-grandparents, all four of them, one lived to 98, one lived to 100, one to 101, and one to 103. So
wow, so you definitely should, when you get in the right age range, you should plop down some money and invest in this.
Yeah, in a few more decades, maybe. I'm sure that company will be long gone. So in duck lovers of the world, some news that you're maybe not going to want to hear, but also going to want to hear.
Yeah, that's true. It could go either way. It depends on how you feel about ducks. And for those who don't know, hiding ducks has become a huge phenomenon. I kind of want to start a business selling themed ducks because I think there's a lot of money to be made there. But anyway, as most of you probably know, people love to hide ducks on ships for other people to find. It's like this whole game, and you go on the website and you enter in where you found it and where it's from. And it's worth noting that this drives some people insane, and they absolutely hate the practice. They think of it as basically littering. You're hiding your little ducks around, or you'll be sitting having dinner and there's a kid poking under your table looking for a duck. Yeah, it makes some people crazy. Anyway, that kind of, by the way, makes it worth doing in my book. If something makes somebody else crazy, it might be worth considering. Anyway, Royal Caribbean announced that while you are welcome to hide ducks on their ships, if you're traveling on an Oasis or Icon class ship, you will not be permitted to hide them in Central Park. So that is that beautiful area in the middle of the ship. On that class of ship, the whole inside is carved out, and there's a beautiful walkway and parks and trees. And it kind of makes sense that they don't want people hiding ducks there because Central Park is filled with lots of live vegetation. Now, it's already tough enough to keep live vegetation, thriving at sea with the salt air and all of the conditions that it has to undergo out there. The last thing that they really need is people hiding ducks, or more importantly, ripping through the bushes trying to find them. So consider Central Park one of the places that if you are going on an Icon class ship, you are not allowed to hide ducks. There are plenty of other plenty of other places to hide them. They're huge. They do ask that you not hide them in restaurants and I think spas, places like that. But most of the other public spaces, you can go ahead and hide them. Doug, have you ever hidden ducks?
I believe when I was on Mardi Gras, Ashley and I walked around and we found a ton of them. And I think we joined a Facebook group. We took pictures with them and then we re-hid them, I believe.
I was on, I think it was also Mardi Gras, if I'm not mistaken. And I was in a Facebook group. It was not a duck group, but it was a Facebook group. And for that sailing, and I posted a note saying, I've looked all over for ducks and I haven't seen any. And I woke up the next morning and there were 15 ducks outside my door. I didn't even have to look for them. So, duck people of the world, you're either doing something right or you're driving people crazy, but keep on hunting.
Yeah, unless I'm with someone who's actively into it, I see them everywhere, and I probably know where to look at this point because I've seen them for a decade now or whatever. But I don't really fool with it, and nothing against it. It's just it's not me. But if someone wants to do it, I'm like, yeah, I'll go on a duck hunt with you.
You know what I'm going to be interested to see? I'm doing Virgin in a couple of weeks, and I'll be interested to see, because it's an 18 and over ship, are there people hiding ducks on that ship? Is it like Disney adults? Are there adult duck hunters who we know there are adult duck hunters, a lot of them, but will there be any on that ship, which is such a unique and different kind of environment than your typical cruise ship? So I'll be interested to see.
You will have to let us know. All right, staff writer Richard Sims, as always, thanks, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
The world is constantly changing. Your place for news is still the same. Online and on demand at cruiseradio.net.
A big question we get at Cruise Radio is, how do I know if I need trip insurance? Simple answer. If you're getting on a plane, taking a road trip, or getting on a cruise ship, you need to have travel insurance. Hey, it's Doug Parker from my friends at tripinsurance.com. Not only does tripinsurance.com protect your vacation investment, but it also gives you peace of mind in case anything were to go wrong on your trip. How do they do it? They offer 3 different types of trip insurance policies. Good, better, and best. One policy for every vacation budget. But it doesn't just stop there. They're up to 40% lower when you shop around on other comparison sites. Plus, tripinsurance.com offers 24-hour customer support before, during, and after your trip, online claims assistance, and travel alerts to let you know what's going on at your destination. But find out for yourself. Check out tripinsurance.com.
Have a tip or a lead on a news story? Let us know. Email tips@cruiseradio.net.
Julie and her son just returned from a 6-night cruise on Carnival Magic out of PortMiami, went over to Half Moon, Amber Cove, and Grand Turk, and she joins us on the line to talk all about it. Hi, Julie.
Hello.
We'll jump right to it. What made you want to jump on this 6-nighter from PortMiami?
Well, I wanted to take a cruise, but I didn't want to go alone. I thought I'd ask my son if he wanted to go because the last time I took him on a cruise, he drank a lot on the first night. He's a magician, a close-up magician. So the first night he's at the bar making friends and doing magic tricks, and people were just buying him beers or not just beers, but all sorts of different drinks, and it was all night long. So he didn't get back to his room till almost morning, and he was so badly hungover the rest of the trip. Since then, over the years, he always thought, I shouldn't have drank so much on the first night. So all these years later, we wanted to go on a cruise, and since he's a magician, I thought Carnival Magic would be a perfect ship to take him on.
Well, that would be a good one. Is he a touring magician or a hobbyist or a local?
No, he's been doing magic since he was 8 years old, and he's also a balloon twister.
Okay.
And so he does like corporate events, weddings. He used to work at a magic shop in Myrtle Beach when we lived there. And so he was a demonstrator, and so he's always loved that art, that craft, but now he's twisting balloons for one of our minor league baseball teams at the stadium. So he stays busy all summer long, and then he does just small gigs around the area.
That's
during
awesome.
the winter.
Very cool. So you make your way down to PortMiami before the cruise. Any pre-cruise time there? And if so, what did you do?
Yeah, we went down there the night before, and but we got there too late. Now, I wanted to stay in an area where I can just walk to, like, Publix to get, you can get the wine or a 12-pack to carry on. So we got too late. We missed Publix, so we went in the morning, got everything we needed, and then just did an Uber over to the port. So it was just a quick shot right there. So it was a nice area. I like the Brickell area.
What makes you go with Uber in Miami over other options?
Yeah, I think it's convenience. I was considering doing the trolley because they have a free trolley that goes, and the Brickell area has that tram, and then you can get off the tram and then get on the trolley. And then just go to the port. So, but then I thought, no, I want less stress. I don't want to worry about trolleys. I didn't want to lug my luggage. So, an Uber wasn't that expensive either. I mean, just from the airport to the hotel, it was maybe around $27, $30. And then to the port, it was maybe $15, $16.
Okay. Yeah. Not bad at all. Nice. So you make your way to PortMiami to embark Carnival Magic. How was your embarkation, and how long did it take you from the curb to the ship?
Okay, so I chose the 12 to 12:30 boarding, so that way checkout at the hotel was noon. That gave me plenty of time to go get the pop and the wine to take on the ship. And so we got there about 10 after 12. We got on the ship. Well, first I want to say that there were like two lines. One was really long, and that was the line for people that just showed up. And then the other line, we just went right through because that was for people that were on time. And so we just went right in, got to our little station where somebody checked us in, took our picture, and we went through the security and then onto the ship. So that probably took about 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I don't think it took very long at all.
Being a magician, what did your son think walking on board Carnival Magic?
What was really neat is when we first boarded the ship, of course, Carnival Magic always, people kind of joke around with the decor, with all the green kind of lights, mm-hmm. and the blue lights and the white lights or the light fixtures and the wall sconces. But actually it does look like vintage magic shop, mm-hmm. or a vintage theater for magic. So although it was kind of tacky, it really did hit the theme. So I really liked it.
Yeah, that's the ship that has the Rabbit in the Hat Casino or something, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you make your way to your stateroom. What kind of stateroom did you book for the 6-night cruise, and what did you think of it throughout your voyage?
So the stateroom, I booked the Cloud 9 Spa Interior on deck 11. And I wanted it that area, so we're close to Lido. It's close to everything. And then I wanted the thalassotherapy and the Cloud 9 Spa, the therapy with the steam rooms and that. Mm-hmm. So it was a great location. The interior was nice because I do like it dark when I sleep. So it was just a perfect location. Of course, the stateroom is the typical Carnival design, mm-hmm. layout, with the bathroom and the shower curtain, and it doesn't have the door, because it's an older ship. Yeah. But we had the 2 twin beds, and but it was outdated. They really did. They do need to do an update on the room. It had a tiny TV, and the remote hardly worked. It was awful. You had to hold your arm up, point the remote to the TV, and the button still didn't work unless you just got it at a specific angle. So that was a little annoying, but we were comfortable.
Yeah.
And it was easy to walk right outside, look over the Lido deck, see, it was just a really good location.
Because you were on deck 11 on Carnival Magic, did you notice that, you have those doors there that open to the pool where sometimes it could pull all of the AC out and make it very humid sometimes? Did you notice any of that on deck 11?
Mm-hmm. It was really cold where you go into for the staterooms. And of course, when you go outside, the heat, but it wasn't too bad. Mm-hmm. And we would sit at the couches to watch the movie outside. And when the doors open, we would definitely feel that cool air. And it felt good, though.
Yeah.
Just sitting right there. So it wasn't too bad. It didn't bother me.
Does this ship have the elevator that goes directly, priority access to the spa?
Yeah, and that was so slow. Mm-hmm. It was so slow that we just took the stairs.
Gotcha. All right, let's talk about the food on Carnival Magic. We'll go up top to the Lido Deck Marketplace, the buffet on Carnival. How was the food there, and did it ever feel too crowded during the week?
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of divided into two. There's one section, and then on the other side, there's another section. They serve the same thing, but one side has all the desserts, and then the other side has Mongolian wok. But The one side that has all the desserts, which is more towards the aft, that always had a line. And so since I was closer to forward ship, we went on that side, and there was hardly ever a wait. It was so easy just to get in there, get whatever you want. And it was easy to find a place to sit. We always had a place to sit right next to the window. And so it was pretty nice and easy. But the other side, yeah, it was always packed.
And then how about outside of the buffet, around the pool area or the after the ship there, where you have the burgers, burritos, and pizza?
That was like, of course, on embarkation and sea days, those were really busy. But just regular time for like breakfast or lunch, we were able to get a seat or a little table right outside by the pool area over by the Blue Iguana, and then over by the other bar, and I forgot the name of it, if it was the Red Frog Rum, one of the rum bars.
Red Frog Rum Bar or Blue Iguana Tequila Bar, yeah.
Yeah. And so we were able to sit next to the window as well. So no problem at all.
Nice. Now, as far as the main dining room goes, what time dining did you have, and how was your food in there?
Okay. So we did the anytime dining. We didn't want to do a set timing because we just didn't really want to sit with a bunch of people. I don't have a problem with meeting new people and just talking, but my son's he's always around people and we just wanted privacy. Sure. So when we went, we just got a table for, just the two, but they were so close together. You can hear other people's conversations, and we even had a conversation with the people next to us. So we just did the main dining room just one night, and that was on Elegant Night. The other nights, the first night we did specialty, but the main dining room, it was very busy, and we could get what we wanted, like somewhere else. At the buffet, they served almost the same thing, but the dinner was really good. Service was quick. Service was excellent. So it was a really good experience.
Any specialty restaurants on this 6-night cruise?
Yeah, we did the steakhouse on the first night. They have a special where you can get a free bottle of wine when you book on the specialty for the first night. So we went to the steakhouse, and we had, instead of the free bottle of wine, because it's either like a Merlot or, a red wine or a white house wine. So I opted to get the special they had for 50% off on any bottle of wine that's $100 or less. So I got a pretty good Pinot Noir, and then I had like a filet mignon with lobster. Now my son, he did filet mignon, but he likes it like well done, and I know a lot of chefs, they don't like it.
Right.
That's like a pet peeve of theirs. So when he got his, it looked like a flat steak, really, really well done. But my son wasn't hungry anyway. I mean, he took a couple bites, and he's like, "This is not good." So he didn't even eat his steak. He ate the salad. That was it. So I'm like, well, don't send it back. Just, if you're not going to eat, just don't eat it. And then that way when they took it away. So he kind of felt it was like a FU from the chef to him. So, yeah, he really felt like it was intentional.
Interesting.
Yeah. So when he sent it back, I mean, we didn't send it back, but when we were done with the meal and we were leaving, him leaving it untouched is almost like saying F you back to the chef. So, but mine was really good. I really enjoyed it. And I highly recommend doing the steakhouse. So now he's learned his lessons. Now he next cruise that we go on, he said he's going to order the way I did.
There you go. I saw in the notes here you went to the chef's table. How was your experience?
Oh, that was fantastic. And I'm usually a picky eater. If it looks funny, I'm not going to eat it. I mean, it took me years to even like guacamole because it was green. But the chef's table, it was so beautiful. Every presentation that they had. And so I wasn't afraid to try anything new. It's just the way they explained everything. And then they had your wine glasses full all the time. So I had a glass of red wine, white wine, and a glass of water. But every time they set something in front of me, it was just beautiful presentation. And they explained what it is. And of course, we had our own private, a menu that had our name on it. The chef signed it. Everything, all the flavors. I highly recommend this experience. It was expensive because it was $119, and then with the gratuity, then total was $149. I thought, yeah, it's kind of expensive when you can get a lot of free things on the ship, but I wanted an experience, and boy, was it ever! It was fantastic.
I'm curious because your son is a magician and normally they have some kind of table act come in there. Did that come into play?
Oh, that's funny. Yes, because ever since my son was 8 years old, he's always wanting to show me tricks. So I'd come home from work and I couldn't even sit down. It was pick a card. Let me show you this. And it's like, oh, so over the years, I've been a guinea pig for magic. And I was so tired of magic. I don't want to see it. I really don't want to see magic. But I don't want to be disrespectful to the magician and to the people that I'm seated with. I know how the tricks are done, but I really enjoy watching other people watch magic because they don't know how it's done. And so I just kept my mouth shut. But what I did try to do is, because when somebody's doing magic, people forget to applaud a magician. They're so like, oh wow, how'd you do that? But it's really good to show your appreciation for by applauding. So I tried to get the table going by applauding. But the magician was really good. Definitely he's been doing a lot of practicing, and it just takes a lot of time and just to perfect that craft. So we had a really good magician, and I did enjoy it.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's funny because I was on, it's probably a couple of years back now, but the magician came through and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go, another magician. But he stopped at me and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. He wound up, he took my watch. I had no clue he did this. He took my watch off my wrist and had it on his wrist. I'm like, what? How did you do that? He must have distracted me and he obviously did, but I don't know how he did it, but he was wearing my watch and I had no clue he even took it off.
Right. Yeah. He did something of the sort, something like that too. He did like a ropes trick, and he did a few card tricks. So his sleight of hand was really impressive.
Yeah, it is wild. How about the entertainment? How did it stack up?
Yeah, we did kind of like a chill. So we did a couple of the movies. And since we are in deck 11, and the movies were the movie screen out on the Lido over the pool. And the weather was fantastic. The weather was so clear. We had the moon above. And so on deck 11, when you come out of the, I don't know, you call it a breezeway or a hallway, with a sliding door. And then they have couches along the edge there. So we got to sit on a couch, and then straight ahead was the pool and the screen. So we watched a few movies, like the Aquaman and a couple other, movies that were just recently playing, and we enjoyed it because the weather was nice. And right in that location if we had to use the restroom or want to go get a drink out of our fridge in our stateroom, we were right there. We didn't have to go do anything. And then we could go down the stairs where they had popcorn at one of the bars there at the Lido. And so we just grabbed some popcorns and then went up and watched the rest of the movie. Now, we did trivia, and my son, I think he knows almost everything about SpongeBob SquarePants, because he uses that to help him sleep. And like during the afternoon, and sometimes, just at night, just trying to sleep. Mm-hmm. And we always call it SpongeBob nap time. But he knows almost everything about it. It's just uncanny. So we did that, but a mom of 3 kids, she won it. He missed it by 1. And it was just so funny, these questions. I'd have no idea. So that was a lot of fun. We did the Deal or No Deal show. Mm-hmm. And I didn't win anything on that one. I bought 3 cards, but it was a fun show. And then we did the playlist productions. I think it was like 80s rock music. Mm-hmm. That one we enjoyed. Of course, since we're both drummers, we really liked the drummer of that band, and he kept it going through the whole thing. So when they were introducing the band at the end of the show, we had to just be a lot louder to let the drummer know, mm-hmm. We got to show the drummer some love. So I did a loud whistle and we clapped, and we really enjoyed that show. And they did the music like Bruce Springsteen and AC/DC and Kiss and stuff like that. That was fun. We didn't go to any of the parties like the 80s parties or any of the theme parties they had. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have it on the Lido because it did rain or it was misty. So they did have those parties down in the lobby. And from deck 11, where our stateroom is, as you're walking out to go to the deck, they have the elevators. And then they have like a railing you can look over. And we were up pretty high, so you can look all the way down and see everybody dancing. And that was kind of cool. And it was a lot of fun just watching just over that deck. Then my other entertainment is not entertainment, but I like to spend some time at that Cloud 9 thermal suite. Oh, yeah. So, we did that, to wind down the evening, kind of relax.
Well, that's one of the only ships that have the really big thalassotherapy pool, too. The other ones are just like small jacuzzis. This is actually, it's not huge, but it's probably can seat 20 people in there.
Oh, yeah. It was big, and what was nice is there were only a couple people there.
Nice.
So, and then the next room they had the lounges, mm-hmm. and they're heated. That was really nice to land those. But like the steam rooms. So the night before of the last day of the cruise, I kind of felt the back of my throat was a little sore. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want this to happen, because after a cruise, sometimes people are not feeling all that great. And so I downed a lot of emergency, drank a lot of water. And then I went to the steam room for the aromatherapy, which was peppermint. Mm-hmm. And I stayed in there, and I forced myself to really stay in there for a while. The next morning, I felt so good. My throat wasn't sore. That steam room was so nice, just to get the toxins out of the body. So it was just so relaxing that with the steam rooms, the loungers, and that thalassotherapy pool.
Do you find that emergency helps you kick whatever crud you might be coming down with?
Oh, yeah. I take it with me every trip.
I just bought some the other day because I was feeling kind of cruddy when I was in Charleston. And like the next morning, I felt 100% better. I was like, wow, is it really that? I bought the immunity one, though. But still, it was just really, I was surprised how actually it worked very well. Okay, very cool. So as far as the sea days go, as with crowds and congestion, how were they?
Yeah, I did the tea time. That's always my favorite. I always go to that. Now, my son didn't go. It starts at 3, and it's for about an hour. And this one, and I got there a little earlier, but this one had a lot of people. I was really surprised. So it's starting to become popular. And I don't do their free tea, which is like a Lipton tea or something like that. And I don't buy their tea. I always bring my own. So I bring like a Lady Grey, and I'm prepared for tea time. So I get the little finger sandwiches, which are the cucumber sandwiches and the salmon finger sandwiches. And then you can get like these little mini desserts. So I was seated with some really nice ladies and just got to chat for a little bit. And then I was on my way back to find my son. Okay. And we played putt-putt golf. And my son Chris did the ropes course, and that was a lot of fun to watch him do that.
You made the most of your sea days there. As far as the casino, now this class of ship is known for it being a little bit smoky, with it wafting into the atrium at some points. How was the casino as far as the smoke situation in and around it?
So Deck 5 is a smoking casino. Deck 4 is a non-smoking casino. So up in Deck 5, it's bigger and there's more action going on, and the bar is there. The smoke in the beginning wasn't too bad, but after a while, it started getting to us, and that's when we decided to go to Deck 4. But then Deck 4, there's, it was just really kind of dead. The machines, the slot machines were super tight. We normally like to play craps. I like to play Let It Ride. My son, he likes to play poker, live poker, not poker on the machine. Yeah. But they informed us that they took the live poker. They stopped doing that across the cruise line. So he was really looking forward to doing like casino, but yeah, that smoke. And we used to be smokers, and we just can't. Every time we're around that, we're like, oh, thank God we stopped smoking. Yeah. We should have done it a long time ago, but it did get to us.
Do you have any royal flushes there on Let It Ride?
No, it was even that was, I didn't stay long. Now they have the minimum is $10, not $5, and so with $5 I can play longer. With the $10, I was losing fast. So yeah, we didn't spend a lot of time at the casino, but and I love to gamble, and that's how I paid for my younger son's braces, is gambling or playing craps on the Carnival Fantasy. Wow. So I loved, to be in the casino, but this time around, I lost my money fast.
How did you pull off the craps table win?
I played for a long time. Well, craps, you can win fast and you can lose fast. Uh-huh. And it was $5 minimum, so I play the pass line. I lay my odds, and then of course I do the 6 and 8 all the time. So I was just lucky, and I was setting down the most of the odds that I could, and I had a pretty good bankroll then too. So. Every time I'd win money and I'd take a little break, I would go put the cash in my safe, and then I'd go up and I'd play with my budget. So, like if I say, all right, $100 is my budget for this day, And anything over that $100, I go stuff it in the safe. And go up and play. And then the next night I'd have my budget. And that's what I did for each of those nights. And so that's how I accumulated all that cash. So it was enough to pay for his braces and to take my younger son on a cruise and then take my older son on the cruise, which, the magician ended up having a rough time during that cruise since he drank so much that first night.
A good redo here. So how about the ports of call on this 6-night cruise? What we'll do here is give us your port of call, give us the highlight, then we can go to the next one.
Okay. So the first one was Half Moon Cay and the private island. And I love that one because, the water is just so clear. The beach is just so beautiful. I usually get like these hammock floaties, but I didn't bring them this time. We just spent a little bit of time in the water. Then we went back on the ship. And that way it was quieter because everybody else is on the beach.
Yeah.
Then the next one was Amber Cove, Dominican Republic. And we did an excursion on that one. We did like mountain sites and then the city tour. And we went to the tallest mountain in Puerto Plata or in that area. And the site was just beautiful, just with the ocean. And then it was such a beautiful view. And then we got to walk like a path through the botanical gardens. Our guide was hilarious because everywhere he's pointing out, he'd always say, looky, 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 looky. And if it's a banana tree, looky, looky. So it was interesting. And then the city we went in, we saw the Umbrella Alley and a lot of the shops. Of course, it's all tourists. And then we did the Pink Alley, which is the for breast cancer. And that was about it. Just a short walk, but it was a long time. It was a good maybe 5 hours.
Yeah.
A little too long for us, but we did enjoy it. The last one was Grand Turk, the Turks Islands. And we didn't go to the beach, but we did a little shopping and then had a drink at one of the bars. Yeah. We didn't go to Jack Shack. I know a lot of people go there, but that was way down on the other side. So we just a little bit of time, and then we went back on the ship. And like I said, the ship's more peaceful, less people. And when we got back, I got to spend some time at the pool. And then all the cruises that I've been on, it's the first time I've ever been in a pool on a ship. And it was nice because it was just a couple people. So it was relaxing.
You sailed in November, which can be a busy family time or a not so busy family time. How was it?
No, I didn't notice very many children,
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it was during school time.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, because it was just before Thanksgiving, so they weren't even off on break.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, there weren't that many children at all.
Well, the ship is back in Miami. It's time for disembarkation. How was that process? And did you find that it was pretty easy getting off the ship and clearing customs?
Yeah, I've always done express walk-off.
Mm-hmm.
I've never checked my luggage out. I've never gotten tags. I've always did, and that's what we did. We just had a carry-on. We just walked right off.
Gotcha.
Now I have to mention, we didn't have a problem getting on the elevators because we were on deck 11, and so we had the forward elevators. So there wasn't much of a wait to get on the elevators from deck 11 because it's such a short little area for the staterooms. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of nice that we just went down to our, the debarkation and walked off. Got an Uber pretty quick and went straight to the airport.
Well, do you have any first-time tips to offer anyone sailing Carnival Magic?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, and here's one of my tips. Bring a USB hub. Mm-hmm. when you're on the Carnival Magic because there are no USB connections at all. None.
Yeah.
So you definitely bring one of those. No, any other tips?
Looking back, what was the biggest highlight of this cruise for you?
Two things, I think. Number one, chef's table all the way. It's something I just will not forget. And then the other is I'm really glad that we did that excursion, the mountaintop, because the view, at least we got out and we didn't just stay in the port. Mm-hmm. We wanted to get out and experience the area. But that mountain view, definitely traveling, it's good to see parts of the country that you're going to. Yeah. So, but again, that chef's table, that was fun.
Did you have to book that in advance, or did you book it when you were on the cruise?
Well, I booked that on the website or on the app, mm-hmm. and I did that before the cruise. And but here's one thing I forgot to mention too. So we were on the ship, and I didn't hear from them for a couple days. Like, okay, because they didn't give me a time or a day. Yeah. And so I went to customer service or the service desk, and they couldn't tell me. They gave me a number to call, I guess, the galley or something. And finally, I got a letter stating that it was going to be on like the fourth night or the fifth night of the cruise, which was the second elegant night. Mm-hmm. So I did get to dress up for the chef's table since it was elegant night, but nice. I really wish they would have let me know in advance, because what if I already had plans for elegant night with my son?
Yeah.
And yeah, so while I was at the chef table, my son ordered the room service. Mm-hmm. So he got like the buffalo wings. He had ordered pizza too, so he did get to use the room service. I've never used room service, but he wasn't really all that impressed with it. Yeah. But he didn't want to do the chef's table because he's a picky eater too.
Gotcha. Well, in closing here, your final thoughts of Carnival Magic.
The rooms definitely need to be updated, but overall, the theme of the Magic ship, I really like how they did the casino bar with the top hat with the rabbit fanning with a fan of cards. The ship was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
We've been talking with Julie about her 6-night cruise on Carnival Magic. Julie, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this review with us. We really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. I really enjoyed talking with you.
All right, Dougie, let's see what we got for you, buddy. Cruise Radio is produced at the TripInsurance.com studios in Jacksonville, Florida. Get cruise news, ship reviews, and money-saving tips every Thursday on Cruise Radio. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show. If you want to help spread the word, give Cruise Radio a 5-star review. Find Cruise Radio where you listen to your favorite podcast or online at cruiseradio.net. I'm your announcer,